Here we go. Here we go. So yeah, that could well have been the last time I played. No, actually, that was since Federations. Damn. The last time I feel like I properly played was probably the multiplayer game, which was actually with Templin, where I got absolutely steamrolled by Druzhnik. That was at ParadoxCon 2 years ago. So it is about 2 years since I played this, because I did that one stream on Federation, skipped Necroids completely. Actually, I had to ask for a key to Necroids because I hadn't even requested it. And then this one. I was unimpressed by Federations because I thought that Federations was taking the game in the wrong direction. It was already very stagnant. It was already not a lot happens after like the midpoint until the Crisis, and then after the Crisis there's basically no point playing. And I thought that Federations was just taking it even further in that direction, just making the game even more stagnant. Nemesis, however, adds more chaos to the galaxy. It adds espionage, it adds more reasons for conflict, it adds hopefully a bit more disunity and lack of cooperation that I think this will shake things up. It basically adds a lot more in terms of diplomacy and makes it a bit more like EU4 where things are a bit more shifting and a bit more dynamic. At least that's what I'm hoping. I have not read any of the Death Diaries. Like Stellaris has been sailing quite firmly under my radar for a while just because Federations was such a turn-off. So I'm hoping that this improves things. I unfortunately did not get to catch much of the Cold War over the weekend. I did see it at the very, very end. I saw that the Emperor survived on his shielded planet. Spoilers. But that's it. That's all I saw. Because I was streaming at the same time. Honestly interested to see how much this expansion actually changes the marketing and info so far, makes it look like it's hyper-focused on the whole become the Crisis thing. It seems that way. Like, the reason it's called the Nemesis is you can become the Crisis now, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. You can basically become the big bad as opposed to the big good. Although I think there are now more anti-Crisis mechanics in play that you can now use to try and, like, face off against. So it's just like the good versus evil, which will triumph type of situation. So here we go. We have got the 3.0 introduction. Stellaris has been updated. The galaxy is now a more mysterious place. Intel, such as full borders or details about governments, are now hidden until revealed by a spy network, sufficient trust or through intelligence sharing the diplomatic pacts. Envoys can be assigned to manage spy networks in the diplomatic screen. And they have also taken over the greatly expanded First Contact system. Colonies now produce alloys and consumer goods using industrial districts, and several buildings have had effects that add additional jobs to certain districts. Planetary designations can be used to specialise industrial district production towards either alloy or consumer goods, and improvements have been made on the colony and sector automation. Good. Building slots are now opened up by expanding the infrastructure of the colony by building city districts or upgrading the colony's capital building. Biological pop growth now follows a curve where the growth accelerates on partially filled planets, but slows as the planet becomes crowded. All pops, including the assembled ones, now require progressively more growth to create, greatly reducing the overall number in the late game. Save games from previous versions may not be compatible. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. So we are definitely going to start a new game. And we are going to... and there are the boomers, in fact. Create a new nation, because of course we are. So let's see what's available. Now, I have come into this rather badly with absolutely no preconceived notions of what we want to do. So, as far as I'm aware, there's no new stuff, I think. I mean, Necroids would be, I guess, new for me. Rock people. Yeah, I haven't done anything with silicoids before. Dwarves. I think we've done dwarves before. Barbaric despoilers. I'd like to be something which can actually stand a chance of reaching mid to late game. Huzzah! So I can see what changes. Also, I should mention Silver Knight has gifted a sub to Templin Institute. Thank you very much for that, Silver Knight. Very much appreciate that. Calyx Primal coming in with a 20-month resubscription. Behold, the Imperium of Man. Oh, we could do the God Emperor, that's true. We could play as the Imperial Guard. The Marshal has come in with a 28-month resubscription. Thank you very much for that as well, Marshal, and thank you so much for the ongoing work that you do as a moderator here on the channel. It is hugely appreciated. Thank you. Necroids are new too if you're a massive edgelord. I don't usually go for edgelordy stuff. There's the elves. Pass. Maybe try a bit more of the Federation mechanics and try to get a hegemony, expanding it by force. Could do. Could play... Well, I wasn't that impressed by the corporations. Otherwise I'd say we could try to play as like a trade federation of some kind. Necroid's narrator voice is good. Alright, let's take a listen.
Death comes for all sapients in the end. Death comes for all sapients in the end.
Alright, so what is the Necroids thing? What are they about? I don't even know how you choose that. It's been so long since I've played this. I don't remember what's happening. Oh yeah, we have Origins. That's a new thing. They're not one of these, which is what I expected they would be. Necroids are an origin. Oh, there's scrolls. Okay, there's more of these. Necrophage. Civilization evolved as a parasite, feeding off sapient life forms for growth. As it extends its reach across the galaxy, other species will be seen either as apprentices to be brought into the fold, or merely as food. Convert pops of other species to the primary. Only the necrophage pops may be leaders or take ruler jobs. Start with 12 pops on a secondary pre-patent species. Guaranteed habitable planets are instead primitive civilizations. Okay. Origins becoming the big evil is what everyone's going to do. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, still trying to come up with ideas. I could just go my standard sci-fi, this is what I like to do in Stellaris type of template, though I don't know how that's changed. Oh, another thing which I know zero about, which was kind of hilarious. Artifacts. Stumbled across artifacts in the Stellaris PDXCon game. No idea what that was about. Zero. I was just like, okay, that's the thing now. I guess I could do some exploration into this. Then I think I got killed before I actually did. Tomb World Race? So we could do like a post-apocalyptic thing. Like, we haven't really done much with the Origins. Do a lost colony of a different species. Galactic Union. I don't really want to start in a federation. I'd like to make my own. If we even go in that direction. Meteor collision, necroid, lithoids. We haven't done lithoids before. I remember the lithoids in Master of Orion being pretty cool. Boomers were post-apocalyptic. That is true. Okay, so we've done that. Lost Vikings in space. Oh, I like that. Okay, Lost Vikings in space. I like this idea. Although, I have a feeling we've done that before. Viking Horde? No, that's the corporation. That's a criminal syndicate. Maybe we haven't done... Vikings, that's just raiders. No, we haven't done Lost Vikings in space. We could do the more... adventurous, explory-y Vikings. Calamitous Birth. That's the lithoids. Ah yes, the massive crater. Quite quite like the Lost Vikings. Alright, so... humanoid. Gonna be quite dull in that way. Name. Leifbunda. Leif's cabins. I mean, probably Vinland. Oh no, this is the species, it's not the nation. Species. Viking. Plural. Vikings. Adjective. I mean, we're probably Norse rather than Vikings. Viking is... it's a job, it's not a people. Name list. Vic. And I know I have in the past used subscriber name lists. There is a Norse naming mod name list. Because this is a new expansion, I usually like doing these without mods. Sod it, I'm going to look that up, unless you can link it to me. Come on. Norse names list. In fact, there's several of them. There's Jagdtiger's Viking names, there's Nordic names, and then there's the Norse names list. Not Iron Man compatible, that's fine by me. You've been downloaded 1,500 times, you've been downloaded 700, and you 600. Well, Nordic names is definitely the more popular, so we're just going to go with that because it's the least likely to break stuff. And this one is apparently Iron Man compatible. Not that I care. Update please. Oh. Works with 1.2. That's ancient. I mean, this is the problem. I'm playing on a pre-release version of the game. I don't know if any of these wouldn't work. Or would work. As of now, cannot be used with 1.4, compatible with 1.4. Okay, there's lots of people complaining about the fact that this doesn't actually work. Because this is pre-release, I'm gonna have to just go vanilla. Expeditionary Fleet. Armada. I think we'll go with these. And we'll just use the Vic prefix. Traits. Okay, so. Now, one thing to bear in mind with this is we are the descendants of explorers and adventurers. We are not the descendants of the warriors, necessarily. Yeah, we know how to fight, but we are explorers and adventurers first and foremost. So, possibly adaptive? I would say that the Norse are pretty darn adaptive. Talented. Traditional. Nomadic? I feel like we would be nomadic. We're gonna have to be nomadic. I think I'm gonna go nomadic, adaptive, and then something. We need a negative. Unruly. Alright, maybe not adaptive, maybe just nomadic. Then maybe one of these. Natural engineers, we're good at building boats. Resilient? What's resilient? Aha. Defense army damage plus 50%. Yeah, I think natural engineers makes the most sense. Nomadic natural engineers, because like Norse technology was surprisingly good. They had sewer systems. Like one of the only cultures outside of Rome that had sewer systems. They're actually pretty smart about that stuff. Norse shipbuilding was way ahead of its time. Norse metalworking was impressive. They basically had natural forms of steel because of bog iron. Quarrelsome? See, I'm not sure about that. Quarrelsome with others, maybe. I think nomadic natural engineers works. Adaptive, I mean, it was pointed out that they didn't survive in Greenland in particular, and Vinland, obviously. So probably not adaptive. They did tend to stay in the north. They adventured everywhere, but they mostly settled in the north. Homeworld name. Huzzah! Star name. And we are going to be Alpine. Tundra? I mean, it'd be one of these two. It wouldn't be Arctic. Cold, rocky world versus mountainous. Well, I mean, that really depends. Are we Norwegian? Or are we Danish? Or Swedish? In my mind, the true Vikings were Norwegians. Sorry, Denmark. The adventurous ones. The Danish ones tended to be the more rowdy, I want to conquer everything. But the adventurers were Norwegian. Ooh, Midgard. Okay, okay. I can work with that. Or Icelandic. I mean, the Icelandic ones were Norwegian, initially. Same with the Greenlanders. They were Norwegian. In fact, the story behind Greenland's colonization is hilarious. Eric the Red was kicked out of Norway for murder, moved to Iceland, and he was kicked out of Iceland for murder as well. And he ended up going to Greenland. And then from there, his son, Leif Erikson, went to Vinland. An adventurous family. A very adventurous family. Sweden were the true Vikings. We sailed on land through Eastern Europe. I mean, it is quite interesting seeing where the three different modern cultures expanded to historically. Like the Swedes did go east into the Baltic, into Russia, and eventually down to Miklagard, Constantinople. The Danes generally went to England and to Ireland. And then the Norwegians went to Scotland, Iceland, Greenland, Vinland. Alright, city appearance. I mean, probably humanoid. Go humanoid. Origin, Lost Colony. Government and ethics. Byzantine bureaucracy, because we're from Miklagard. I mean, part of this will also depend on our government form, and it is probably democratic. The oldest parliaments are Scandinavian. The oldest parliament in the world is Iceland. With the Althing. I never know how you pronounce that. Is that Ting or Thing? We're democratic. Meritocratic? Hard T ting. Thought so. I mean, we're not really meritocratic. Here's the thing. Are we truly democratic? Are we Icelandic Vikings? Or are we more oligarchic with the Jarls? Oligarchic, again, I see as more... Oh, Norwegian was pretty monarchist as well. I mean, I don't think we're dictatorial. I don't think we're imperial. It's definitely one of these two. Icelander here, it's thing. But is that pronounced thing or is that pronounced ting? Yeah, I think oligarchic is actually a little more likely. I can see us being meritocratic, because the Vikings are all about establishing your own destiny. Ting, ting, thing, thing, ting, ting, thing. Parliamentary politics is civic, isn't it? Oh, Templin! Huzzah! Yes. It's a democratic one. Templin, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Huzzah! Manx here, you're all wrong. It's tin. Rabbit Bogling, Brookshire, Smoke Cats, Micah, Haddon, Huzzah! Kuuruk, the South Saxon, Zemalf, Dragon Maelstrom, and Drew. Congratulations on the gifted subs, courtesy of Templin. Also, hey Zemalf, huzzah! How are you all doing? And thank you very much for that, Templin. That's really, really good of you. Thank you. Philosopher King, huzzah! No, I think we're going to go with oligarchy, and we're just going to see what's available as an oligarchy. Aristocratic elite, not us. Byzantine bureaucracy, not us. Corvée system. No. Cutthroat politics. We do have cutthroat politics. If I disagree with you, I fight you. Holmgang. Huzzah! This also comes with code breaking, which I'm guessing is an espionage thing. Huzzah! Corvée system. Society considers the absolute right of the state to decide where its citizens live and work. That is definitely not us. Go where the hell you want. If you can take it, it's yours. Huzzah! Diplomatic corps, no. Efficient bureaucracy, no. Environmentalist, not really. Functional architecture. Functional architecture, Huzzah! I could make a strong argument for, actually. Because the Vikings were pretty good at adapting their architecture for where they were living. Like, part of the reason that Norse Great Halls are half underground is so they conserve heat better. They look more like a bunker. And again, with the whole sewer thing, they had like streams that ran under the building to flush them out. Oh yeah, that's true. We also need to do the ethics. Alright, let's take a look at the ethics first. Although I am really tempted by functional architecture. That one does actually sound pretty good. Huzzah! Hayden, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Very much appreciate that too. Turandon and Maleficas, congratulations on the gifted subs, courtesy of Hayden. Thank you. Huzzah! Memorialist sounds like the sagas. Empire pays tribute to memories and sapience of the past. Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's very much us. Alright, so we'll grab that. Reanimated armies. Maybe a memorialist and functional architecture. Because like in Norway, they had the wood stilt churches because Norway has a lot of wood. In Greenland, they had mostly stone structures because there was no trees. In fact, trees are not native to Greenland. Because Greenland's too far away for most birds to get to migratorially, and the main way for seeds to cross large distances is birds and bird droppings. So Greenland has basically no trees because they never reached it. Ethics to unlock more. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at the ethics. We're not Gestalt consciousness. Xenophobic? I don't think we're really xenophobic. Egalitarian. We are somewhat egalitarian. I wouldn't say we're fanatic, but we would be pretty egalitarian. Materialist, we are... Well, here's the thing. Materialist in this instance is materialism versus spiritualism, which is the religious appliance of materialism, not the commercial. Pacifist? No. Xenophile? We do get on with other cultures, and we are very good at integrating. Authoritarian? No. Spiritualist? Somewhat. Militarist? Somewhat. So I think we are egalitarian. Egalitarian is the only one I would say, yeah, we are. Then maybe spiritualist, militarist, or militarist xenophile. Vikings had a settlement in Canada at Lonsor Meadow. Yeah, I know. Known as Leifbunde, or Leif's Cabins. Well, actually, that's not necessarily Lonsor Meadow. The colony mentioned in the Saga of the Greenlanders and the Saga of Eric the Red was Leifbunde. Militarist, spiritualist. Can't be xenophile, Vikings took thralls. True. Then I would say militarist, spiritualist. We're not fanatic in any of these because we're not the Viking warriors, but we are still Norse. And then spiritualist because we are pagan. Okay, so we still have another civic. Citizen service. Full citizenship and political responsibility comes with... not really. Carthrow politics, I could definitely go with that. Death cult. Built around ritual sacrifice. Early paganism, maybe. Not so much late. Distinguished admiralty. I mean, I could make a pretty strong argument about distinguished admiralty. Efficient bureaucracy. No, no. Exalted priesthood. I wouldn't say they're exalted. Nah, we're not really a religious council. Religious freedom was pretty widely practiced. Idealistic? No. Merchant guilds? Not really. Merchants were powerful, but the guilds? Not really. Meritocracy I could make an argument for. Mining guilds? Not particularly. Nationalistic zeal? Definitely not. Police state? Reanimated? No. Warrior culture? Yes. Alright, I think that this is calling for the first poll. So I will be putting together a list of about 5 of these. And we'll go from there. So, options. We're definitely taking Memorialist. I think Memorialist makes the most sense because of the sagas. Then we have Distinguished Admiralty. If I could spell distinguished, that would definitely help. Then we've got maybe Death Cult, if you really want to go down the spiritualist path. Functional architecture. And I would say that that one especially because we did consider going adaptive. So instead of adaptive, we can have functional architecture. I think they are functionally the same. Idealistic, no. Merchant guilds, no. Meritocracy, yes. Mining guilds, no. Zeal, no. Police state, no. Shadow council, no. Warrior culture is going to be the 5th. And we'll make this a 2-minute vote because these civics are pretty important.